What is up, guys? It's your boy Recluse, and today we've got some brand spanking new Destiny 2 news, courtesy of the Bungie weekly update that has just gone live, revealing official information. And today, Bungie addresses the most controversial change that came to Destiny 2 with the launch of the final shape. This is a crazy one, and so let's get started. But just before we do, guys, do you shower with a loofah? I'm supposed to be holding a loofah here, but my wife threw ours out when she found out how disgusting and full of bacteria they are, so I'll Photoshop something in, like, it'll look natural, just don't worry about it. But hey, if you do, our friends at Manscaped have got something so much better, the Body Buffer. Seriously, guys, loofahs are disgusting. The Body Buffer is made with 100% bacteria-free food-grade silicone. It's gonna get into all those nooks and crannies, if you know what I'm saying. It's gonna get you feeling and smelling spotless. Now, why just get the Body Buffer though, when you can get the Buff Bundle? It's gonna come with the Body Buffer and also with 2 of the Manscaped body washes. These things are dermatologist tested, vegan, dye-free, gluten-free, paraben-free, and cruelty-free. That's a pretty good combination. Listen, guys, the final shape has been out for a while now. It's time to start going outside and touching some grass. And if you do, you're gonna want to smell nice, you're gonna want to be clean. That's where the Buff Bundle comes in. But if you want to get it, why not get it at a huge discount? If you click the link in the description down below, you're gonna get 20% off your purchase and free international shipping. What the heck are you waiting for, gamers? Click that link. Alright, now first things first, what's been going on this week for Destiny 2? Well, at the Tuesday weekly reset, we saw the launch of Grandmaster Difficulty Excision. Except we didn't, that was actually a lie. It wasn't at the Tuesday weekly reset, it was 3 hours after. Yet again, we had some massive server issues. Very small numbers of people were actually able to get on the game for, again, several hours after launch. A lot of these issues kind of mimicking what was happening at the Final Shape launch. Something is going on in the Bungie server room, and it is not good. But once those issues did subside, players were able to go into this higher difficulty Excision, and the reward for completing a Grandmaster Excision actually turned out to be the Ergo Sum Exotic Catalyst. The Ergo Sum is one of the most interesting and frankly one of the best new exotics that was added within the Final Shape. A special ammo sword that can actually get Wolfpack rounds to boost the damage of your other swords is crazy. So if you guys want to know a bunch of tips for beating that Grandmaster Excision and getting your Ergo Sum Exotic Catalyst, I did do a video on that. It is linked right up above. Now, aside from that, there's a new quest you can pick up from Failsafe, and it's the continuation of the weekly storyline for Echoes. But that's about it for this week. So let's move on from there to the brand new information within the TWAB. And first off, let's talk about that controversial topic, and that is the difficulty changes to raids and dungeons that happened within the final shape. This is a super interesting topic and change because this was announced nowhere. Bungie did not talk about this at all. Players just discovered it when the final shape went live. And that change is, well, as you can see right here. If I go to any raid in Destiny 2 right now, I have elemental surges. So right now it's Arc Surge and Stasis Surge. Now, a lot of people, when they first saw this, thought, well, that means the game is easier. I mean, before we didn't have surges, and now if I use particular weapons, I just do more damage, right? Well, actually, that's not the case, because unlike previously, where you could level up to, and I believe even over-level compared to the enemies within raids and dungeons, now you are at a -5 light, capped at all points. And what does this actually mean for you? Well, Bungie released a chart in the TWAB showing what those changes actually meant for players. So, as you can see right here, in terms of outgoing damage here, guys, the power cap being -5, you're now doing 33% less damage in raids than you were previously. And so that means you can see in the second column, even when you add the surge, so it's Arc Surge, I'm using arc weapons, now I'm bringing my damage up, but I'm still at an effective -15% damage based on what I was capable of doing previously in raids. And so, again, a lot of players were really upset by this. Raids at a base level, even old raids, even if you want to go do Deepstone Crypt, all those raids just got harder with the final shape. Now, interestingly, in terms of incoming damage, Bungie actually clarifies that you're going to be able to increase your defensive effectiveness beyond the target power, and they just can't display it for UX reasons. So incoming damage won't actually be as bad, guys. But again, that outgoing damage, it is significantly harder in the final shape to DPS a raid boss, for example, than it was previously. But on top of that, causing a lot of players to be upset, we also have the surges. So not only are you going to do less damage, your best loadout might be nullified depending on what week you're doing that raid. Again, right now it's Arc Surge. Did you grind your butt off for a God Roll Edge Transit? Too bad, dude, you can't use that because it's not the featured surge. You better be using an arc weapon. And so again, a huge number of people were very upset by these changes. However, a lot of players actually liked these changes. People were saying, well, it's raids, it's dungeons, these are endgame activities, they're supposed to be difficult. There's people even saying, I like the surges because now you actually need to change up your loadout. You can't just use one thing for every single raid out there in terms of DPS, right? So there was a huge debate within the community, but today, Bungie made a massive change that's going to impact this raid and dungeon difficulty moving forward. So here's what they're doing. Now, the -5 delta in terms of like incoming and outgoing damage, that is going to be the same. What they're removing is surges. So they say, we've decided to remove surges from raids and dungeons in next week's update, as well as adjust tuning so that you'll perform as if you had them across the board. This means the damage bonus will now be applied to all subclass damage types, including kinetic by default. This change will make outgoing damage in dungeons higher and reduce the difference in raids compared to before the final shape. It does so while removing barriers to build crafting, and they say they will continue to monitor our feedback on this issue. And so overall, guys, I actually think this is a great change. I think having raids and dungeons, and really it's just raids, be harder, and you're pigeonholed into a certain loadout depending on the week, I think that was just like a double gut punch to casual players, right? The hardcore players like myself, I have a vault and inventory full of hundreds of different weapons. I can put together the best arc weapon, the best solar weapon, the best strand weapon, no problem. The people who can't do that are the more casual players. They're the players who are returning for the final shape. They missed out on years of loot, right? The final shape being the grand finale attracted tons of those people. They want to do a raid and they're seeing the surge going, oh my goodness, like my best weapon is useless. That I don't think was a good thing. So removing these surges and kind of bringing everyone up to as if everything they're using is part of a surge, I think again, it's going to allow you to just use what you actually have in terms of your best gear to get the job done, while still making the other half of the debate, the people who are saying that raids, you know, because they're endgame, they should be a little bit more difficult. Technically, they still are. So hopefully this change pans out for the betterment of the community overall. Now, speaking of difficulty, guys, some upcoming stuff. The Salvation's Edge Master difficulty will be arriving next week on June 25th. Now, on top of that, also arriving next week on June 25th is Grandmaster Nightfalls, guys, where you can go and get those Adept Nightfall weapons. And looking at some of the roles here, like they changed some of the existing Nightfall weapons. There is some disgustingly good Nightfall weapons available this season. Now, moving on from there, guys, we have some notes about the Kvostov. So the Kvostov is an exotic weapon that you can get through a lengthy quest. But a lot of people are being completely screwed over because there's this one stupid taken servitor boss that you have to get a moat from, but he launches the moat off the map every time you kill the darn guy. So basically, Bungie's like, good luck with this guy, right? Like, you're just gonna have to keep killing him, and basically, my best advice for you guys is to be like inside his body when he's dying, and hopefully you can get that final mode. That's why I haven't been able to put up a guide on this stupid exotic gun. I've been screwed by this guy just like everyone else. So really sucks there. Hopefully they can fix this issue. But again, they're just like, yeah, keep trying, I guess, but very unfortunate. And then guys, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus, that is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.